Today, we're talking lightweight camp cots. Let's go. Welcome to Lone Crow Adventures, the channel where we talk about all things camping, hiking, and backpacking. If it's your first time here, consider hitting that subscribe button. There is a ton of great content on this channel I know you'll enjoy. Today, I'm going to be introducing you to the ultra lightweight backpacking cot that's made by Desert Walker. Let's check this thing out. Okay, whoa. All right, let's stop right here before we go any further. I don't want you clicking off this video because you're thinking this broad is dragging a cot with her on her backpacking trips. That is not what's happening here, okay? I don't think the backpacking is the strongest point where this cot's going to perform. So I would not use it for backpacking specific. But there are a ton of other situations in which having a small, compact, lightweight cot could be a big game changer when you're not dragging it around on your back. So we'll talk about some of those. Overlanding trips, extended car camping trips on road trips, float trips, that includes your canoe trip, your kayak trip, your raft trip. If you want to go snowmobile camping, you want to go ATV camping, any of these things, you're not going to want to bring a giant, huge size military cot with you, but having that smaller compact cot is something that you can easily strap to the rack of one of your ATVs or to your snowmobile or throw into your canoe. So kind of try to keep some of those uses in mind as we move through the video, and don't just stay tunnel visioned in on backpacking, because I don't think that's where the beauty of this product is going to be shining the most. It's in those other realms of outdoorsmanship. Of course, this channel is about camping, hiking, and backpacking, but it's not exclusive to backpacking. So let's just try to think outside of the box on this one. So this is the lightweight backpacking cot made by Desert Walker. Desert Walker was nice enough to contact me a couple weeks ago to ask me to review this cot. I promised the manufacturer that I would provide a completely unbiased opinion of this product. I've tested it out, and so far I'm pretty impressed with it. So let's go through some of the specifications on this cot. So you can see this is a pretty small pack size for a cot. Once you get it into its stuff sack, it's 20 inches long and 5.5 inches in diameter. So if you wanted to bring a lightweight cot with you on your next backpacking trip, you could fit this inside of your pack depending on the other gear that you were bringing and the capacity of your bag. Let's talk about weight. This is a pretty light cot in terms of the fact that it's a cot. It comes in at 4 pounds, 15 ounces. Now the dimensions on the cot, it's going to keep you 6.3 inches off the ground, so it's just a short little baby guy. It is 26 inches wide and 75 inches long, so it's going to accommodate most of those standard backpack sleeping pads on the market. So let's go ahead and get this puppy set up, and I'll show you all about it. Before we get the cot set up, I thought it would be helpful to compare and contrast the setup of this cot and the specifications of it compared with your standard military cot. So you can see right off of the bat, the size difference is not even comparable. I'll line them right up next to each other. This one is about 2/3 of the width of your standard military cot, and it is half of the length. So that means if you're going to throw this in the back of your car, you could fit 2 of these small compact Desert Walker cots to 1 standard military cot. So that is a big advantage. The second big advantage is weight. This one comes in at just under 5 pounds. This one, whoa, it comes in at just under 21 pounds. So it's a huge, huge weight difference. So let's say you're car camping and you have a walk-in site that is maybe 800 feet from the car. You don't have direct parking access to your campsite. You're not going to want to drag an almost 21-pound camp cot with you. This would be a perfect size and a perfect weight to just grab and walk to your campsite that is a walk-in site. Not necessarily a backpack site, but more specific, a walk-in site for car camping. All right. Military cot aside, let's put this thing away. and we'll focus on the Desert Walker ultra lightweight camp cot. We're gonna get the Desert Walker ultralight camp cot set up. It has a really nice storage bag with a zipper that operates really easily. And these are the components that you'll have once you get your cot for the first time. I'll lay them all out here for you. One of the disadvantages to using an ultra lightweight camp cot versus your traditional military cot is that there are far more components and the assembly process is more complex in terms of more specific steps that you have to do. So it can take a little bit more time to get these set up. But at the same time, the tension mounts to get these set up are not nearly as physically demanding as setting up a traditional military cot. The cot mat itself is made out of this Oxford material. It is a polyester and rayon blend, so it's very breathable and it's nice. If you sweat on it in the summertime, it's not going to collect moisture. So we'll roll this out. When you go to set this cot up for the first time, you're going to want to do so with the top of the cot mat facing down. Desert Walker has sewn some instructions inside of the stuff sack for the assembly, and they've listed all of these products individually in the list. One of the things I would have liked to see here is a little picture next to each of the descriptions, because it was a little bit unclear during that very first assembly of what part they were talking about. So we'll go through this list and I'll show you what the parts are in case you decide this product is something that you want to have. So it just makes that first time setup a little bit easier. So we have what Desert Walker calls the long poles, and these are just shot corded poles. You have 2 of them, and they're going to run lengthwise along the length of the cot. So we'll have 2 of these, and they are very easy to assemble. Just pop into place. And once they are assembled, they're also equally as easy to disassemble. They're very, very easy to set up and take apart. So we'll put those aside. Then they describe these as bending poles, which you can see it kind of has this W or kind of a U shape to them. So these are described as bending poles. Now you have 2 different types of legs that come with the cot, and you need 1 of each type on each of these parts here. So I'll go through what they are here. They call one just a short leg, and the short leg is this piece here. It doesn't have any moving parts, the one that's called the short leg. And the other leg they call the labor saving leg, and it basically has these clips that come out, and it has this moving part here which will help you snap it into position later on. So keep it in mind if you get this cot and you go to set it up at home that you need 1 of each leg. You need 1 labor saving leg that has a moving part, 1 short leg with no moving part, and 1 bending pole to make 1 foot, and you'll repeat that 4 times. So we'll go through how to get it set up. It's super easy. And after you've assembled these 2 long poles, you slide them through the one end, and they have these grip loops here, which come in nice and handy. And you're just going to slide this down the entire length of the cot. And once you get it all the way to the end, you've got this grip loop here. You can pop a finger through there and just pull it right over the ledge like that. Do the same thing on the other side. Now comes to the part where we assemble the feet. And this is the most complicated part, is just getting these 3 pieces here put together in the proper orientation. So I'm just going to take a minute and show you guys the setup of what these parts look like. This is the labor saving leg, and you'll notice it has these 2 points here that you push in, and this pops out. So how you're going to orient this is the hook that's going to hook into those rails that run along the cot. So it's going to orient outwards facing the cot, and the flat part of this foot is going to be facing upwards during the assembly. This way you have this square rectangular shape that's going to be connecting to this bending rod. So if you look at the bending rod, you're going to orient it so that, we'll close this again, so that this is going to clip in to the rail on this side, and the bending rod is going to be bent with the U-shaped part shaped up. And you just insert this here, and then you have to push it all the way through until you hear that clicking noise. And then same thing on this side. This is the regular leg. You'll notice that it has no moving parts, but it has the same exact orientation. So you're going to do the same thing where this is going to be facing out towards that rod with this square part facing in. You're just going to push it all the way until it kind of snaps into position like that. Then you can open it up and stick it in there. How we actually go about getting these assembled is that you'll take the regular leg and you'll kind of just hook it through the hole in the fabric into the rod. And you're going to want to make sure that your labor-saving leg is open, and you just push this down. You just give this a nice gentle stretch. Clip it over like so, and then close that up. It locks into position, and then it's nice and sturdy. All right, we've got the legs all clicked into position, and we're ready to flip this bad boy around and give it a try out. Before we do that, I want to take a little bit of time and kind of nerd out over the design of this product. These legs are made out of an aviation grade aluminum. It is a 70-75 alloy, which means it's an alloy with a zinc base designed to be anti-corrosive and also to be extremely rigid. Now, in the outdoor world, we generally use two different types of aluminum alloys for the production of most of the lightweight outdoor gear. We use the 70-75, and then we also use another aluminum alloy, which is a zinc and magnesium based alloy, which is 70-01. That one is going to provide, again, that corrosion resistance, but it's going to be a lot more flexible, and that's what most of the ultra lightweight tents are made out of. Why do I bring this up? Desert Walker makes two very similar styles of cots. They make this one that comes in at 4 pounds, 15 ounces with the 70-75 grade aluminum, and then they make an even lighter version that comes in with the 70-01 aluminum. The reason that I selected this one over the other one, well, there's a couple differences. This one's designed for rigidity, and you'll notice I can put all my weight on here, and these are not bending at all. There is zero give. So I know when I roll over in the middle of the night, this cot's going to stay stationary. It's not going to have any bounce effect. If you choose the model that has the 70-01 aluminum alloy, it's not going to perform the same. You're going to get quite a bit of movement underneath of you, and it's designed to be more lightweight, but it's also going to be flexible. So that kind of aluminum is a little bit better suited to structures where flexibility is going to be something that's important, as in a tent, for instance, for wind resistance. Not so much with a cot. So that's why I decided to go with a cot that weighs more, because it's more sturdy for sleeping. All right, so now that we're done totally nerding out, let's go ahead and flip this guy over. All right, I'm gonna sit down on here just to kind of give you some size perspective. I'm 5'2", so I'm a shorter person. So keep that in mind when you kind of visualize what I look like laying on this cot. It's super comfortable, and I personally would choose to use a camp mat with this. I don't really like sleeping on any cot with just the canvas, so I would use some type of a camp mat, even if it was just a closed foam cell or something just to have some extra insulation on top of here. And this is 26 inches wide, so it should accommodate whatever backpacking mat that you already have at home. Super, super comfortable. It's easy. You can see I can get into a sideline position if I want to. I can roll over. I can sleep on my stomach. Now, where it gets a little bit uncomfortable, and that's kind of with most cots, is if you're kind of sleeping out to the side, you notice it does bow quite a bit, which leaves your arms resting right on this wire. Same thing if you kind of sleep with a leg cocked up, your knee's going to be right up against this external pole. But overall, in terms of the benefits that it provides with its lightweightness and its portability, it's an excellent, excellent product. One of the things I would have liked to have seen is some type of a cross beam here. And I understand that would add quite a bit of weight, but having a cross beam, even just at one end, it doesn't need to be at both ends, because when I'm sleeping, I don't mind if my feet kind of sag down like this. But especially if you're a taller guy, I'm only 5'2", so if you can imagine if I'm a taller guy and I have to sleep all the way up here, my head actually bows down in the middle here. And it wouldn't be so bad once you get a pillow up underneath of it, but if you had a cross beam here to prevent this sag from coming right here, that would definitely help to hold your head in a better position. You don't really need it down at this end for your feet, because most people are comfortable when their head is positioned higher than their feet. So if we had a cross beam, even just at one end, that would help to optimize the head position and improve the comfortability a little bit more. But most of the lightweight cots on the market are designed with these two side rails and no cross beams there. So it's not like it's drastically different from a lot of things on the market. Now, getting out of the cot can be a challenge. It is more difficult to get up off of a cot of this height than it is to get up off of just the ground. Because when you get off the ground, you just kind of roll over and then you stand up. With this one, there's a little bit of acrobatics involved with it, because you have to put your hands in the middle of the cot. If you scoot too close to the edge and try to get up, you'll notice the whole cot is going to flip up behind you. So the easiest way that I found to get up off of this is to put my hand right down in the middle, kind of put some pressure through the middle, and then stand up like that. And same thing when you're going down to the cot, you're going to want to put pressure in the middle to stand up, and then put pressure in the middle to sit down. Because if you try to scoot forward and you try to stand up, you're going to flip it up. Same thing when you try to sit down. If you try to sit down like this, you're going to flip it. So you have to put the pressure in the middle. Not really a big consideration, but might help you avoid a nighttime tumble if this is a cot that you're thinking about using. Let's take a minute and talk about some extra features. For $50, you can purchase leg extenders that would go into each of these holes here. Leg extenders can go in here, and that's going to give you quite a bit more height, and it's going to turn this cot, which is 6.5 inches off the ground, up to the height of a standard cot, which is about 17 inches. So if you're worried that this cot is too low, they do offer some leg extensions to help you out. This is a super easy cot to work with, even once it's assembled. It is super lightweight. I can easily pick it up with one hand. I can throw it around. I can slide it into my tent easily. I could slide it into the bed of my truck if I wanted to. Slide it into the back of the Jeep if I wanted to. This is actually short enough that it should be able to fit in the back of my Jeep Grand Cherokee, so that way it will give me a little extra comfort if I ever had to sleep in my car while I'm on the road. I mean, there's just so many ways that I could use this cot. I'm so excited to have it. It's performed really well on the couple times that I've used it so far. The assembly is easy, the disassembly is equally as easy, and it's just been fabulous. If I had to rate the Desert Walker Ultra Lightweight Cot on a 5-point scale, I can honestly say I would give this cot 4 out of 5 crows. It performed really well the couple times that I've used it. The assembly process is really easy. It's just as easy to disassemble. It packs nicely into the stuff sack in which it originally came, and the weight and stability on it is a good mix for me. I really like this cot. I definitely would choose to purchase this cot again if anything were to go wrong with it. Where this cot gets some big time points with me is just with the comfort. It's really comfortable to sleep on, and that is going to be the number one factor when it comes to any kind of product that I'm going to be sleeping with. It can be great to set up, great to take apart, but if it's uncomfortable, too bad, I'm not going to use it. This thing performs really well for sleeping. It's easy to put together, it's easy to take apart, it's easy to pack back up in its original stuff sack. The only problem that I've really had with this cot, and I mentioned it earlier, is just not having this cross beam up here for some additional head support. And by the time that you get your pillow underneath you, it's not that big of a deal, but I do find with sleeping on it, that pillow kind of scooches up on you in the middle of the night. And if it just had that cross beam there to keep this canvas nice and taut at the top, the pillow wouldn't be tempted to kind of scooch off the end in the middle of the night. So that's kind of a minor detail, but you know, a significant detail at the same time. But overall, I say that this cot is definitely worth the money, and it is something that I'm going to be using for a very long time. 4 out of 5 crow rating. Thanks for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and hopefully you've learned a little bit about these lightweight backpacking camp cots. I've included links in the description below to both models of Desert Walker camp cots we talked about today. This one with the 7075 aluminum alloy, and the lighter, more flexible one with the 7001 aluminum alloy. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. There's great stuff on this channel. And while you're here, check out a few of my other videos. Till next time, folks, we'll see you on the trail.